Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer, and today we're back for the mid-game segment of the A to Z Amanator Challenge. If you remember from the first game, if you haven't watched it, go ahead and check that one out. But if you remember from the first video about the early game from this game, we had to go through a few strategy changes. We ended up switching from Patati Archer Rush, and then we were going to go some Desert Folklore and a Work Ethic, but then that didn't work out, so we ended up going for a Religion and Science combo that we're then going to try to make into a Science victory as we continue through the mid-game. So to just pick things up right where they left off, I was continually settling some more cities, so playing a passive game, want to get plenty cities out nice and fast. And I made sure to make use of Monumentality, which I had gotten at the start of this era, to buy some settlers and some builders as well. Just try your best to not forget about having things like Monumentality. I admittedly forget it all the time, so just try to be conscious whenever you're playing of the bonuses that you have to make use of in an era, especially if it's something like a Golden Age. And of course, since we had a really good city going on in the desert in Faras, I wanted to get Petra in this to make it even better, so I went ahead and started to begin construction on that one to make this desert city even a little bit more ridiculous than it already was. I did get an upgrade for my Void Singer Secret Society. I upgraded into Chorus as well, which gives you gold, science, and culture equal to 20% of your faith per turn. This actually scales really strongly as you get later into the game especially. This adds up to being a lot of gold, a lot of science, and a lot of culture, and it makes you a very well-rounded Civ if you're playing one of these religion plus other victory type of games. Speaking of religion, I was trying to convert all of my cities to my religion. Whenever you're playing a religious game like this, where you're not trying to win religious victory, you're just trying to keep your own religion, it's important to be diligent in making sure that opposing religions don't come into your territory, and we are going to see exactly why in this video today. So I started to see that some Shinto missionaries were coming in and converting my cities. They converted Faras here, which was something that I was not exactly happy about. So I converted it back with one of my own missionaries, and then in just a little bit of extra time, I saw that they started to send some apostles my way, which is something that is generally not something you want to be seeing. So what I did is I immediately then purchased an apostle of my own. This is something you have to do early on, because the farther, the more the opponent's religion spreads in your territory, the harder it is to get rid of. So I immediately purchased an apostle and got the debater promotion. I'm pretty sure that you're guaranteed to get debater as an option on your first apostle, but it seems very rare to get it after that. So always make sure you get one debater apostle, whether you're playing for actually religious victory or just trying to have a religion in your game. Getting debater is a very good way to make sure that you can take out enemy religious units that come into your territory. I then did finish Petra, which is very exciting because that meant that this city was going to be even more ridiculous in the desert. I did forget that it actually doesn't affect floodplains though, so it didn't make those tiles any better, but the rest of the tiles in the desert were pretty good, and some of the ones for my Nubian pyramids that I would build later on were helped out by this Petra. Then started to get down the Government Plaza hexagon that I planned out in the last game, so I actually put down the Government Plaza, started working on some of the campuses around it. Just make sure that you get these districts out earlier rather than later, just because anytime that you get anything that's a yield over time, like science per turn, the more time you have it down, the more effective total science you'll get out of it. Then changed up my policies a bit, so I was still playing for a relatively passive game, so still kept colonization to make some more settlers, went for serfdom to build plenty of tile improvements, and then you can kind of play a sort of almost like a tall game, except obviously, we still have plenty of cities, but I just want to build up these cities as much as I can, since I really wasn't worried about having to fight anybody or anything like that. Or at least not fight anybody militarily, because I had to fight some of these apostles that were in my land, so I sent my debater apostle to start beating these guys up. They were being very slippery in this game. I would attack them and they would immediately run away. So I attacked a few, and then another one showed up, so now there were two in my land that I was trying to fight. They both were running around. I was eventually able to kill one. It unfortunately wasn't near too many of my cities, so it didn't give the minus Shinto plus Snippy buff to too many cities, but I was able to kill one and then get the other one very low before it somehow disappeared somewhere, and then another fresh one came up, which was very bad because my apostle was on very low HP. So seeing this, I bought another apostle. As I mentioned, it's very difficult to get debater on two apostles for some reason. I don't know why it doesn't show up, but it really doesn't. Also had a massive flood destroy all of my tile improvements that were along this desert floodplain here. And at this point, there were now two additional apostles that were in my territory that were converting my cities. So I was getting both quite irritated and quite scared of losing my religion at this point. Was able to take out at least one of the enemy apostles, though, which was good, and I was sending my debater apostle back to the holy site to heal. Just remember that religious units can only heal on, I think it's on or adjacent to holy sites. I need to double check the adjacent one, but they definitely can heal on holy sites, and not really many other places. My other apostle was then getting beat up, and we unfortunately went into a dark age in the Renaissance era. So for this one, I took Exodus of the Evangelists again, because I was kind of anticipating that I would convert a few more of my newer cities to my religion, which would give me some era score. So that was the idea, at least. And then, of course, I was healing up my debater apostle on my holy site there, while the Vietnamese missionaries continued to convert more and more of my cities to their religion. One thing to remember also when you're trying to heal your religious units is that even though they're on the holy site tile and healing, they are not safe, because I put this one here to heal and then he immediately got killed the next turn. Did produce a relic because he did have that promotion on him, but it also caused a pretty big pressure wave of Shinto to come in. It converted Faras and also did a lot to my capital as well. So this was something that was pretty bad. I still tried to get my debater apostle out to fight whenever he was healed, but I really couldn't stop all of these missionaries. They just kept running away, as I mentioned, and then whenever they would run away, I swear more of them would come in, and then they would just continue to convert my city. So you can see here, there's more of them that are coming from my capital now. I was able to kill the one, but there's still, I swear for every one that I killed in this game, there were 2 more that would appear from Vietnam's territory. So it was pretty annoying at this point to have to deal with this. After a few turns, they actually got in and converted my capital, because at this point, both of my apostles that I had were so low on HP that they really couldn't fight. So I kind of just had to let the opposing apostles get in there. And this was very scary because I have no holy sites right now that are following my religion that I can buy new religious units from. So at this point in the game, the only way to actually get more religious units would be either to kill some opposing religious units and then, get the pressure wave from killing opposing religious units, or to build a holy site in one of my 2 cities that was still following my religion. So I was trying to do both of these things. I also did evangelize a new belief. I went for my religious buildings. I got the stupa just for the extra amenity, which is pretty good. And then I tried to use some of my spread religion charges for my debater apostle on my capital, but it still unfortunately was not enough to quite convert it. I also did get the laying of hands promotion on Moksha. This is actually a really strong governor promotion. It makes it so that your religious units will heal entirely in 1 turn whenever they're healing in Moksha City. This is really strong, actually, for defending against enemy apostles, because you can just sit them on a holy site and every single turn they'll heal up to full HP, which means you can kind of fight endlessly with 1 or 2 debater apostles, and you can shred up opposing apostles and missionaries very easily with this promotion. Then got hit with another massive flood that destroyed the entire desert floodplain for what? I think this was the 3rd time now, so I had to go and fix all those tiles yet again. At this point, I also noticed that the Vietnamese apostles were getting very strong. They actually had some debater apostles as well, which made it even scarier because my debater apostle was struggling to fight against them. But here you can really see how good laying of hands is on Moksha. We were on about half HP, got really low after we got attacked by the debater apostle, and then immediately healed 82 HP in 1 turn to immediately return to full HP and be able to fight again the next turn. And once again, we just sit here on this tile, we heal up, and continue to fight this debater apostle. Was able to eventually switch to Theocracy as well, which is a pretty big bonus for theological combat. You get 5 religious strength just as the bonus from having Theocracy. You also get the discount on the faith purchases, and then you can also get the policy card with this that gives you an additional +5 combat strength in theological combat. So with this, we basically gain 10 religious combat strength, which is a huge bonus on all of our apostles. Also did start to run natural philosophy here because we had enough campus adjacency at this point that we would get 15 science bonus from it, which is pretty worthwhile, I would say. If you don't have the extended policy card mod that shows you exactly what yields you'll get from policy cards, I highly recommend you get it because it's super useful to be able to actually see the exact bonuses that you're going to be getting from all of the policy cards you can run. Was eventually able to kill the debater apostle, which felt pretty good after he was, wrecking some havoc on all of my territory. And then also in the city of Kerma, since I finished the holy site, I was able to immediately buy a shrine and a temple, and then get some new apostles in that city as well. So things now at least were looking like I had a chance of saving my religion, rather than looking like it was going to be totally wiped off the map. So on one of my apostles, I got the promotion that allows you to convert adjacent barbarian units, and it just so happened that I was having a bit of a barbarian problem here. So I've not really ever used this convert barbarians function on the apostles, but it actually ended up being super strong here because I had basically no military in this game because I was expecting to play so passive. So with this, I was able to immediately get some line infantry and some pike and shots, and then I was able to, start fighting against the barbarians, as I was also fighting more theological combat with the apostles that I now had just freshly purchased. Of course, more barbarians spawn though, and the other nice thing is that you get, I'm pretty sure you can use this ability, I think 3 times to convert barbarians, so I just used it again, got 3 additional line infantry, and just think of like how much more military strength I got from this. So in certain situations, this ability to convert barbarians is actually really strong. And then, of course, I used it the 3rd and final time to actually finish off the barbarian encampment, get some free field cannons, and then at this point, I basically just got an entire military out of basically 1 apostle, which was something that is really nice to have. So with the new apostles that I was able to purchase in Kerma, I was able to actually spread my religion a little bit more. I was able to convert Faros back to my religion and continue to fight off the Shinto missionaries. I then purchased some missionaries of my own just to kind of, you know, give me some buffer that I could hold some spread religion charges in a few cities somewhere in case I got into an issue like this again. That's something you should do. You should just hold 1 or 2 missionaries in cities where they can't be killed. That way, if you lose a critical city to another religion, you can have that backup missionary that can hopefully convert it back to your own. Of course, though, there was another 3 apostles that were coming in from Vietnam, so it was time to go and fight everybody again. But fortunately, with the bonuses that I had from my religion and things like that, I had a lot of extra theological combat strength, and it was a lot easier to deal with these apostles as opposed to some of the ones before. I did start to beeline towards chemistry as well. As I mentioned before, anytime you get anything that gives you science per turn, the earlier you get it, the better, because then the more total science you get. So making sure you get to research labs early rather than later actually gives you a pretty big bonus in the long run compared to if you wait an extra 20 turns to get the chemistry. Plan out some industrial zones as well. So industrial zones are very important for science victory. Just some of the great engineers that you can get are really good for both building your space parts and, well, I guess mainly just for building the space parts, whether it be through the production bonuses or the ones that straight up just give a massive amount of production to space parts. Building industrial zones is something you should definitely be doing, and use plenty of aqueducts to make sure that they can get some decent adjacency bonuses. Then with a missionary, I was finally able to convert my capital back to Snippy Snippy, so the holy city of Snippy Snippy was returned to its own religion, as well as some of my other cities as well. So at this point, we were reaching a much more favorable spot in the whole religious war here. So it was time to start focusing on the science victory a little more, getting down some more industrial zones, and looking for some more campus districts as well. Of course, though, the religious battle was not over. They still sent more missionaries, or more apostles, sorry. So I once again had to bring in the old troops and deal with some of these guys as best I could. I did actually, I have evangelized the belief as well and launched an Inquisition, so I don't often use the Inquisition, and to be honest, after doing it in this game, I still don't think the Inquisitors are very good units. But I wanted to try it out, so I went for the Inquisition here. And I also got Holy Order just to make my my purchases of missionaries and apostles a little bit cheaper. So with these bonuses and all the combat bonuses, I was able to get out a few more apostles that would really be able to beat up some of the enemy apostles. I got out an Inquisitor as well, and once again, as I mentioned, like, the Inquisitor is okay. I think just a single debater apostle is honestly probably better than most Inquisitors, but still a nice option to have, I guess, if you're really struggling, kind of like I was in this game. The one thing I want to show off as well is that the religious combat thing is sometimes absolutely broken. So it says here I should have immediate decisive victory, that I should absolutely destroy this apostle. But for whatever reason, when I actually attack, I take 32 damage and he takes 22, even though it said that this should be an insta-kill. So don't always trust the religious attack thing, especially whenever you're attacking somebody that is in the ocean, because I don't believe that there is actually a penalty for theological combat in the ocean like there is for military units. I also realized I was somehow at negative 47 gold per turn here, probably because of all those military units that I got for free from the barbarians, so I needed to sell some luxuries, so I sold a few to John Curtin, trying to get some gold per turn here. And this did help out at least a little bit. I was still in the negative gold per turn, but it at least wasn't quite as bad anymore. I also did create a incense industry in Faros, which gives me 25% bonus faith in the city. Actually a pretty big bonus, since Faros is a pretty built up city at this point in the game. And man, just look at the yields on those desert floodplains, and honestly just all the other desert tiles as well, the ones with Nubian pyramids. It's actually super strong, and I was getting so many good yields in Faros this game. And fortunately at this point in the game, my ability to deal with the Shinto missionaries was pretty adept, I would say. I was able to take them out in basically one turn. It seemed like they were kind of stopping sending as many into my territory, which was really nice because I was very tired of it at this point. So yeah, I was able to kill them very easily. And in some of my cities, I honestly just started running campus research grants because since I had built these cities up a lot, there wasn't really too much more to build. And as you get later into the game like this, kind of as I said in the domination video as Alexander, you might as well just run research projects or, just district projects, because the extra yields that you get for them are oftentimes more impactful than if you just build some random building or some random unit. Also did start to build Mausoleum in Heh. So Mausoleum is probably the single best science victory wonder. Getting double charges on great engineers is really good. As I mentioned before, there are some really good great engineers for science victory, and being able to use their abilities twice, or I guess sometimes, or just getting the extra charge on their abilities is the word I'm looking for. Getting an extra charge on their abilities is something that is really good to have and gives you actually a huge boost towards science victory. So yeah, this was the mid-game of this game, kind of more of a religious-focused mid-game than a science-focused mid-game, but playing a religion and science game, it was necessary to make sure that I was able to keep my religion up here, because we do get quite a bit of bonuses from having my religion in my cities, namely a lot of science. We also did have the Void Singer's bonus, giving us some additional science on top of that, and you can see at this point in the game, we're not the highest science output in the game, but we are at least second out of the people we know. So in the next in the late game, then it's time to build those research labs and really get a ton of science per turn and hopefully accelerate ourselves towards a science victory. So thank you everyone for watching. I've been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for some more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.